Why are people worried that he struggled with Messi, Neymar, Mbappe, who didn't want to track back for a manager who was shattering records for distance covered in the Premier League, when we have Madueke and Mudryk and Nkunku, young players that will actually run and press and do what Poch wants them to do and buy into his ideas? We don't have Galacticos. Why does people care? When he developed Dele Alli, Mane, Kane, Eriksen. Where's the comparison? That is what this video is all about. Yo people, welcome back to the YouTube channel. You already know what time it is. It's time for another video. Big up your damn selves in the building. You already know what time. Now listen. This video is going to be interesting because I need to debunk the nonsense on Poch's name. On social media in particular, there's just so much stuff that's sprouted that is really making no sense. But I'm also going to address the stuff that are legitimate. I feel like they're legitimate concerns. We're going to address those too. Now, first of all, I want to start off with Nagelsmann. Obviously, the more news has come out, in particular about him in terms of not wanting to go through maybe the interviewing process, wanting to feel like the special one, not wanting to go through the ordeal. Now, listen, at the end of the day, I understand having a list of names, but like I said in the last video, you just don't make it public. Learn to be a bit more tactile, learn to be a little bit more deceptive, learn to be a little bit more sly, a little bit more sneaky. You can interview multiple people, but just don't tell them that you're interviewing by releasing it to the press constantly, by coming up with these massive articles and journals about how many managers we're going after. Just keep everything hush-hush behind closed doors and you won't have this situation happen to you again. And then you can just pick your favorite without any of them knowing. Very conniving behavior, but this is how it has to be. So listen, let's start off with this tweet. I'm not going to show the names of the people's tweets because it's not personal. It's just the opinion or the statements that I don't like. And this all started because you must wonder, why are you so heavy on Poch? It's actually developed from a disrespect. It's developed from a disrespect. I didn't really care about Poch. He was a Tottenham manager. I don't care. Do you know what I mean? But I at least respected his work. And back then it was banter. But now, over the recent months, I've seen how low his stocks have fallen. And I've seen how much disrespect and how people have tried to almost revise history and try to do revisionism and try to, you know, take away his flowers and not give him his plaudits and kind of diminish him to something like he's some sort of bum. And I just thought to myself, do you know what? I have to stick up for the manager in terms of his credentials. I have to stick up for his achievements. And I thought to myself, do you know what? The more I started defending him, the more passionate I got. And then I just became somebody that was actually like, do you know what? I actually really like this manager. So now here we are. This first tweet was Pochettino won nothing at Tottenham. He struggled with personalities at PSG. Now, I've already spoken on this channel numerous times about 1-0 at Tottenham and how, you know, Conte and Mourinho, serial winners, have won nothing at Tottenham. And he actually won nothing at Tottenham under more difficult circumstances if you want to take into account money spent in time period of him being there and moving to Wembley for multiple seasons as well. So if you want to take all of that into account in terms of finances and what he did for that team and obviously what he achieved, it's actually more alarming that the serial winners didn't win anything than it is for him. But we digress, we move. So that's an easy point to make. But he struggled with personalities at PSG. Who didn't struggle with personalities at PSG? Who didn't? Tuchel struggled with personalities at PSG. So why is that such a problem? Nagelsmann, people's favourite, struggled with personalities at Bayern Munich. He fell out with Neuer. He fell out with experienced players. But that's everybody's golden goose. Why is that not an important factor? Why is Nagelsmann's handling of senior players or his falling out with senior players, why is that not used against him when coming to the Chelsea squad? Neymar, Mbappe, and of course Messi, who's not a massive personality but is a massive figure, the biggest footballer outside of Ronaldo on social media. We don't have personalities like this at Chelsea. These are some of the most egotistical, biggest personalities in world football, in Mbappe and Neymar in particular. Why are we comparing them to what we have. What do we have? Ziyech, Pulisic. These players probably won't even be here next season. Please, somebody tell me, what massive personalities do we have in our 11th place bottle jobbing team? Huh? What, Kante? Kante's a star. Kante's a humble human. He's a PlayStation 4 in somebody's yard, Mini Cooper driving. Who are these? What, Silva? Thiago Silva? One of the most professional players you'll ever find in your life. Who? Lukaku. He's not staying regardless. Nobody can deal with him. Literally nobody can deal with him. Tuchel couldn't even deal with him. Well, he did, I guess, deal with him in a way, but you know, he disrupted the situation. Bruv, who are these personalities? Kim Kardashian, bruv. These guys, personalities, give it a break. The two squads are not comparable. We've got young players. We're trying to build a young team, an impressionable team, a team that can be molded, that can be built. And that is what Pochettino does. He develops players. We don't have big personalities. Because if we had big personalities, we wouldn't be 11th. So let's give that a rest. Aubameyang, again, he's leaving. These players that you're talking about are leaving. These players that you're talking about, you want them to leave. Crazy. Next tweet. So this one was a quote kind of diminishing his mentality. Again, we're going to have to talk, have a debate whether a trophy will take the club to the next level. I don't agree with it. It only builds your ego. The most important thing for Tottenham right now is to always be in the top 4. Now, this is a poor quote from him. I agree. I don't like this quote. I don't like the fact that he's talking about trophies building ego. But if you listen to the kind of lyrics that Conte was talking as well, it seems to be when you go into Tottenham, you talk about top 4. You talk about what is wanted from the higher ups. And you deliver that because that's their priority. Not your priority, their priority. I'm going to play a clip of Pochettino that tells you what his priority is, what his mentality is. Not the club he's representing, what he wants.
For me, football is about the glory. It's about to win. It's about to lift trophies. It's not about the money. But I understand that today, more than before, are companies that need to be sustainable. And it's a lot of people in to win because...
Okay, so not only that, we have quotes. If you ask me if I want to win, of course I want to win and build my CV. In the last 4 or 5 years, we played in 4 semi-finals, 1 final. We try, we're close, right? And in the last 3 seasons, we are consistently playing in the Champions League. If you say to me how we can help the club to be in the last level, it's about improving every season. We are so close. We need to keep working. The fans that are not happy, of course, with perspective in the future, they're going to appreciate the job everyone is doing at the football club. Since then, Tottenham have only gone downhill. They've only regressed and they've never competed for Champions League, Premier League, semi-finals of cups. They've not been in any of these situations since he's left. So appreciate the job he's done. Facts. The serial winners have come in after him and failed. They have failed to equal what he's done with more money spent. But listen to the whole CV part. He wants to win. Pochettino states, I want to win the Champions League with Tottenham one day amid Man United links. Right? Does that sound like somebody that doesn't want to win? Does this sound like somebody that doesn't want to win? I just told them, if I have the opportunity to kill you, I will kill everyone on Tottenham's disastrous end to the season. I want to kill all of them. And I did not have the opportunity to kill them. I will kill myself too. This guy has personality. Because another tweet that I'm going to bring up is that he has the similar personality to Graham Potter. Have you watched Pochettino interviews? Have you watched Pochettino press conferences? What makes you think that his personality is anything like Potter? Did you go for dinner with him? Did you sit across the table with him and have brunch? Do you live in his house? What do you mean his personality is the same as Potter? What kind of foolishness is that? It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. I really sometimes do believe that people are projecting their own dismay and their own, discomfort and their own dislike for the potential appointment, and they're confusing their own personal emotional feelings with facts and with the facts and the logic and what is actually in front of you, the reality. That's how I feel about it. But like I said, we're going to get to the actual parts that are genuinely real criticisms, not weak stabs. I'm talking about proper stuff that we need to talk about. His thoughts on Arsenal in May 2016. I don't care about Arsenal. I want to win the league. I want to be on top. Pause. I understand why our supporters want to finish above them, but we need to create our own ideas and philosophy. Then in the end, we will be above Arsenal. Again, winning mentality, wants to win. So I've already addressed the ego situation. I've addressed the mentality situation. I've addressed that. Because again, this tweet, what kind of mentality do we expect Pochettino to install? Well, I've just debunked it. Ruthless, aggressive, winning edge. I'm not gonna translate that to touchline, Conte running up and down, fist bump stuff, because we've had managers that do that and successful, and we've had managers that don't do that. Ancelotti successful. So I'm not gonna do that. Now, the thing is about the highest distance per game covered. This statistic, where his Tottenham sides and his Southampton sides, when this was recorded, this is not the most up-to-date, but his sides still rank extremely highly. But when this was taken, this was kind of the landscape of the situation. His sides were always known for covering the damn ground. Do you know what I mean? Work rate. They have to cover the ground. They have to be physically fit. That's one thing that he does, is he gets his team physically fit for the season. The issues that we had this season in terms of fitness, I don't think it was down to Tuchel. I don't think it was down to Potter. I think it was down to the pre-season, the travelling, the going from East Coast, West Coast, up, down, left, right, not being in a stable situation of just focusing on a boot camp like mentality of pre-season fitness. We were too busy trying to flex and flaunt our signings and go to different locations for those wonderful images. Now it's time to get serious. This guy, if he's going to be successful, he needs his team to be physically fit. Now, it's not to say that the teams that cover the most distance are the best teams. That is incorrect. Some teams run, and they're down at the bottom of the league. Some teams run like Liverpool, and they're at the top of the league under Klopp over the years. The point is that his way of doing things is that you do need to work hard. You do need to cover that ground. So that brings me on to the point of PSG. People will talk about PSG, Messi, Mbappe, Neymar. Why on earth would it not work? Well, isn't it obvious? If his team and if his philosophy and if his ideas are based upon you having to work hard off the ball, then I think it's quite obvious why Messi, Neymar, Mbappe as a front three didn't work. Do people not remember the images of these three ridiculously kind of just standing in the front three and just not even tracking back? All three of them, by the way, just standing there. They're all great footballers, but it's not for everyone. And it's not for him. His remit is developing young players. That's where his success has come from. Southampton and Tottenham. And where Chelsea fans fail, in my opinion, is they fail to understand where we are currently. You want to diminish this because he is the manager that is not the final boss in the perspective of he's not proven to win trophies consistently. And I understand that. But this team is not ready to win trophies consistently, in my opinion. There's a lot of development that needs to go on for Mudryk, for Madueke, for, Carney, for Andre Santos, for all of these players. Now, do I think we're far away? No. But with the amount of players we need to gel in the summer, I don't think we're winning the league next year. So all of this, he can't win the league, that's not a problem for me right now. What I need is these players to be developed into world-class players, and you pick up some cups along the way. You get us into the top four, which is what he does traditionally. It's going to be more difficult than when he did it at Tottenham because the standard of the coaching has gone up. The De Zerbis, the Emerys. So he's got to prove that. And that is a question that somebody brought up, a doubt that somebody brought up. The coaching level has gone up. Can he compete? That's something that we're going to have to see. But the same question would be with Nagelsmann, in my opinion, who was slapped up to Liverpool, slapped up to Manchester United in Champions League, slapped up to Villarreal. It's not all roses. It's not all roses. Can he compete with English sides after only managing the Bundesliga? We would find out. Who knows? Maybe, maybe not. But the point is that, yes, I agree. He's going to have to go up levels in terms of tactically. We're going to expect him in those away games. People talk about the away games, the terrible record at Big Six. 100% he needs to improve that. But now he's going to have more money and hopefully more talent. And I expect him to improve on that. But if you look for flaws in any manager, you can find them. Like I said, I just mentioned Nagelsmann's record against English opposition. If he's been battered, absolutely dragged to Kingdom Come. High line, and he never dropped it. 75 minutes, 4-0, never dropped it. Continue to keep getting the goals conceded against Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's Manchester United. If you want to find problems In anything, you can find problems. Like I said, none of these guys are perfect. None of these guys are flawless. None of these guys are generational. None of these guys are Pep. So all of them have issues, but I don't like the inconsistencies. That's what my point is. I don't like the inconsistencies. If you find flaws in one guy, don't pretend there ain't flaws in the other. Don't pretend that there are leaps and bounds. There's a reason why they're all together in this category, in this interviewing process, because there's no outstanding candidate. And I don't think there is. There's definitely pros to Nagelsmann that Poch doesn't have, but there's pros to Poch that Nagelsmann probably doesn't have. And when you take a look at that situation there, it doesn't surprise me that at PSG, the first half of the season where he had to kind of convince them egos, those big names to get on side and to listen to him, it took a while for him to really get what he needed out of that team to then go and win the league next year. But that is a chink in his armour that people will definitely go to for the situation at Lille, losing the league to Lille by a point. Now, one legitimate concern that was brought to my attention was build-up play and tactics in terms of, can Poch go toe-to-toe with the Peps, the world's best coaches? Well, again, like I said, we're not in a position where we're even really competing with Man City at the top. We need to walk before we can run. We need to get back into the top four. If he develops these players and he shows that, okay, we're ready to win the title after 2 years now, and you're not ready to win because you're not tactically equipped, or you're not able to seal the deal and you're a bottler, then you sack him. You don't give him the 5-6 year contract. You give him a 2 year or 2.5. But in terms of build-up play, what's it going to look like? He's played a 3 at the back sometimes. Most of the time it's a 4. Will it be on the same level as a Pep in build-up? These are all things that I'm interested to see as well. I hear a lot of talk about De Zerbi. Don't get me wrong. De Zerbi's had an insane start, fantastic start, but it's early days. It's early days. His build-up play is lovely. It's fantastic, but it's early days. There's a lot of talk about De Zerbi. There's a lot of questions still to be asked for him as well. Could he manage at the top level? Can he manage the egos? Can he manage under the pressure, under the limelight? Will he garner the respect? All of these things, they apply to him. So after only seeing him for not even a season, I'm not going to jump on that and be like, oh yeah, you know what I mean? That's the big comparison to make, and that's the person to... He's only been here for a few months. So let's chill. Poch has been here for a much longer time span in terms of management, at least to the naked eye, to what we've watched, because I know brothers ain't watching Shakhtar Donetsk like crazy on the Ukrainian league. But more importantly, in terms of the atmosphere, if you create a toxic environment, then, you reap what you sow. It's an interesting situation. The most hated managers, Rafa Benitez, Sarri, they left with something. They both left with something. They both left with glory, European glory, and they both got us into the top 4. Funnily enough, the managers that are hated the most in this fan base, they don't have the worst win percentages. They don't have the worst win percentages. The people that are completely annihilated, booed, bannered, told to fuck off, and leave with their head held high because they leave with silverware and they've left with top 4 qualification, which is what we're trying to get back to. So like I said, if you have any concerns about bottling leagues, Leicester, Lille, you don't need to worry about that because we're not there. We're not there yet anyway. There's no league to bottle because we're not title contenders. When we get there, we'll get there. We'll talk about that then. So until next time, let me know what you think of the video. Big up your damn selves. In a bit, people. Peace.